I'm so used to normal size tractors, that Ford 3000 out there, that Kubota, and then of course that big old John Deere, and things along that, tractors that are really twice this size. I still have trouble. I still get myself in trouble uh, with, overbalancing. I mean, over weighting the front end. And I even put this much heavier box blade on the back here, and I still have trouble. So what I'm doing today is, you can buy wheel weights. They're pretty pricey. And you can make wheel weights. I've actually made them before for that other Kubota I had. I made them out of concrete and bolts, and bolted them up there. They did good. But what'll happen is, when you make something, or at least when I made it, over time it started wallering the holes out. It just doesn't seem to bolt and clamp together as good as the store-bought stuff. So I eventually took them off, but it did work. It did work. I mean, you can do it. But here, what I'm going to do today is, what I'm doing right now actually, is what this video is going to be about. I'm putting in water in the tires. What you do is, you look at your manual, and a lot of times in the manuals it will tell you where to fill your particular tires, and I use things like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. They'll use things like that. So you just position your valve stem at that position and fill it up with water slowly, because these tires are only rated for, this right here is like 15 pounds. So you don't want to take, our water pressure is real low. We live way out in the middle of nowhere. So even if you have high water pressure, 100 pounds, 60 pounds or something like that, you don't want to just connect this up and then go off and eat lunch. You're going to end up putting 60 pounds of pressure in here, and you might end up hurting something. Maybe you, when you comes out here and you take it off. So I just run it in there slow, and every so often I will stop the flow of the water, and there's a valve right there. I'll do it here in a second, and you will see how I just check to see how much water I have in there. And once I have enough, well, then I turn the water off, bleed the air down, and then quickly, bleed the excess water down, if any, and then quickly put the valve stem back in there. I'll show you how I do that. The first thing you want to do is look at your manual and on your tractor, and a lot of times in there, and you might be able to get it off the internet too, it'll tell you where, if you're putting water or some liquid in your tires, it'll give you a settings. Most of the time it's in like the clock, say 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, like that. It'll tell you where best to position your valve stem so that you don't overfill the tire. Then just take off your valve cap, put it where you won't lose it, or be prepared to get another one. You take a tool like this. You've probably seen this before. It's just a little tool to take out. It's several purposes, but what I'm going to use it for today is to take out the valve stem. Now, I've already taken this out because there's no point in you sitting here and listen to darn tire deflate. But all that does is just sit in this little deal like this and unscrew it. Sits in that little slot right there and unscrews it. And what it's going to do, of course, don't be down there with you or have kids down there where they're looking right at it, because quite a bit of air pressure might come out of here, will come out here, and it's just going to go psst, like that for a considerable time. Now I'll get that screw-on tool for the to put the water in there. Okay, here's the water adapter right here. And actually I have the water going in now, but I go in real slow. So I'm fixing to go turn the water off now and bleed that valve. Water turned off. I just slowly take this back out. You can see how there's some water, but there's also a lot of air coming back out. So I kind of feel like the water level must be about right in this area here. And I have my air compressor here. Let the pressure off this slow. There's not much pressure on it, you can see, but there's no point. You see, I do have some water coming out. So, that water level must be about right there. Put this in here. These are tubeless tires here, so I sure don't want it to come off the rim. And that should be enough for right now, but I will air that up in a minute. But I'm going to move to the other tire now. I changed my mind. When I get that other one over there, the valve stem's in a different place. I'll have to move the tractor. So I'm going to check this right here. See how much pressure I got. Pressurize it up right. Is it? I mean, the store-bought wheel weights. I mean, there's just no doubt they're better. And you can make your own too. You see people make their own. Okay. Just looking all over on my crescent wrench. Must have forgotten and left it on the tire. I'm sure you never do that. This one here is not good. This one was actually missing the cap. It's never a good thing. You don't have to let this thing bleed all the way down either. You just don't let it pop you in the eye. And I can almost say with tubeless tires, you probably don't want to drain it all like that. It might come off the rim on you. You really should every now and then let the pressure off this thing. And it's not something I like going and doing some other type of work while this is going on. I kind of like being here. Because I don't want it to build up too much pressure in there. And that water, our water pressure is real low, but if you might be in a spot that's got 100-pound pressure. So it doesn't take that long. I mean, it's when you're sitting there in the sun like this, I mean, it feels like it's taking forever, but you'll eventually hear the difference in the water. And when you hear that difference, then you know you must be above this location. It'll sound a little different, the water going in there. Like I was saying earlier, on tubeless tires, don't play around because you might lose your seal. On tube tires, I still wouldn't play around, but it's, to me, for some reason, it just feels more important to be on the ball with tubeless, because you don't want to break that seal. Unless you're really set up to repair seals, it's kind of, I mean reseat them. It's kind of hard sometimes.